Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Irvin, also known as Koboman. Today we're going to work help desk tickets. This is a really good video for people who are wanting to get into IT or want to learn about help desk. This is also a really good place to learn about some of the most common issues that come up when it comes to working help desk or just IT support in general. All right. If you like this type of content, please say in the comments below hello, hi, or present, just to let me know that you're interested in this type of content. This is how I know to continue making these type of videos. Also like the video. I really appreciate that. All right. Let's get into it right away. So the first ticket here is from Tracy. Tracy's been submitting 99% of the tickets, so I appreciate it, Tracy. Thank you so much. Some other people are also submitting tickets, basically asking for help or sharing what they see in their help desk ticketing system as well. All right, this one is email access. Hi, ever since I installed the Microsoft 365 update, I cannot access my auxiliary email accounts, and then they list the accounts. And no, I do not remember the password. So the first thing first is to change the password. Now you can reset the password through the Active Directory, or if it's just Office or Microsoft, you can do it through the Microsoft 365 Admin Center or Azure Active Directory. Anyways, this is admin.microsoft.com, Microsoft 365 Admin Center. And if you go to users, active users, and if you want to change any of these passwords, you can just select the user here, select reset password right here, and it's similar to the Azure Active Directory. That's the same, you just look up the user, select reset password, right? So that's the first step. And if it's something that's within AD, Active Directory, let me just pull up my virtual machines here, DC, which is a domain controller. I will show you how it's done in Active Directory as well. I have videos on this as well. If you're interested in Active Directory, I highly suggest that you watch it. Let's see, what was the password? P @ SSW0RD. That's the password. The reason I'm telling you what the password is because this is a lab that you can get from Microsoft that installs these virtual machines, and everybody knows this password. So this is for training purposes. Anyways, that was really quick, and because it's a fresh install, after I've installed RAID 0 on this computer. So this is really fast with extra storage. I really like it. All right, Windows admin tools. So this is Windows Server. We're going to go to Active Directory users and computers. This is going to be blank because it's a fresh install. But anyways, you would just look in here. You can do a right click on the domain name, select find, and whoever it is that you're trying to reset the password for, you can look them up by just typing in the search their name or their login ID to reset them. Let me see if there are any people in here. Here, I'll just click on it. Lab admin, sure, why not? Just to show you how it looks like. And if you select on the account, you can change their password. I'm sorry. If you right click them, you can select to reset their password if you want. And this is how you would change it. Okay. What I was trying to get into is to show you how to unlock them if they need to be unlocked, which is what I would do as well. So once you double click them or go to properties, go to account, make sure you select this. If it's locked, it will say here it's locked. But if you do a check mark here and click OK or apply, it will unlock them as well. So that's first couple of things you can do, right? But it says here, ever since I've installed Microsoft 365, I cannot access my auxiliary email account. So I don't know what they mean by auxiliary. Like, is this something that you're trying to access from your phone? Because you can install Outlook on your phone, right? You can install Outlook app on your phone if you're using Outlook or any other, right? But then, you have to make sure that the two-factor authenticator is working properly. That would be the step 2, in my opinion. Make sure they can authenticate to it. Just because they say Microsoft 365 update, it may not be related to what the issue is here, is because it says here, I do not remember my password. So, it's probably unrelated to the update. Possibly, it's a small chance that it is, but, since you've mentioned the password is not, you don't remember the password, then reset the password. I would say this is just a reply. I would reset the password and make sure user can log in. Simply because, so the way I'm putting this in, this is a reply to Tracy, not the user. not the user in this case. Tracy's going to do the work, not me, right? So she's going to do this work where she would reset this per person and make sure they can log in. And I'm going to say if they are trying to access email on their mobile phone, also make sure that two-factor authenticator is configured and used correctly. Right, so the reply to customer, again, this is just kind of unorthodox the way I'm doing it here, but these notes that I'm putting in, this is just me telling Tracy, this is what you should do to fix it, right? I would do this work, and as a final note, I would add an internal note and say, fixed by resetting the password, right? Something similar to that, whatever the resolution is, and then I would select to resolve the ticket as in it's closed, right? Never close the ticket unless it's resolved. But since we've got a ton of them, we're just going to keep going. I think, what is this one? Okay, this is a duplicate ticket, so I'm just going to close it. I'm going to add internal note. Oh, this one actually we have a pop-up. Cannot expand the folders, set the folders. Oh, here, there it is. So it's not a mobile. This one has a screenshot. Cannot expand the folder. The set of folders cannot be opened. The attempt to log into Microsoft Exchange has failed. So this could be caused by the Outlook. Now, when it comes to the ticket itself, the words are the same, but this time we do have a screenshot, which makes a huge difference. This makes a huge difference. Cannot expand the folder. The set of folders cannot be opened. So if you look on the left here, they're expanding these folders here. Now, it does say here the attempt to log on to Microsoft Exchange has failed. I would, after you reset the password, because clearly there's an issue with password, right? This could be cached password. Also, make sure you go to the control panel and remove any like passwords that are saved here, right? Through the credential manager. Make sure you go into the credential manager and delete any passwords that are set here, Windows credentials, web credentials, and all this. Make sure that that's reset if you need to. But what I would actually first try to do is log them out of Outlook specifically. So log them out of Outlook, right? And it's done in the same similar place. Oops, that's I had something else for that. Here we go. Control panel. All right, let me just change the category to large icons because what I'm looking for is a thing called email, which is in here. There it is, mail, not email, sorry. Mail, it says Microsoft Outlook specifically here, right? And if I go to here, this is how you would log them out of Outlook specifically. You go to email account, select this one, and then remove it. So whenever they relaunch Outlook, it's going to allow you to log in again, right? Or you can also change the profile. If you select on profiles, sorry, I went too fast, I apologize. So mail in control panel, right? If you want to reset the whole Outlook profile, email profile, we would do it here, which says show profiles, and you would get this pop up. You can say there is this one here. You can remove it and add a new one, which will basically make you relog into Outlook. That's all it does. And then just make sure you use the correct one. If you have two of them, remove one of them. But this you can remove, add, this and that. Anyways, you get the general idea. And I'm just going to leave it at that so we can keep going. However, it does mention here that says cannot expand the folders, which just an off chance, make sure that it's not a folder that they're accessing on a remote, I was going to say remote inbox, but it's a shared inbox is what I'm trying to get to. Sometimes you have these shared inboxes, mailboxes that are shared across multiple people, multiple groups, and they share it. But you got to give access to that person, and they can add them. It would show up just like this in here. Well, this one here, like right here. This is a shared mailbox right here. You would add it inside of Outlook, but make sure you have access to that. Make sure it's not one of those things. The only reason I mentioned that is because it says here cannot expand the folder. I don't think, I mean, I don't know if this is the person's main folder or, I mean, kind of looks like the inbox is up there somewhere. And this kind of almost looks like it's some kind of a, but it could be also some kind of archive. Look at this here. Anyways, look at all these things. Make sure that that they have access to all this type of stuff. Oops, I closed everything. Oh, goodness. My goodness gracious. All right. All right. I'm going to go back to that same ticket and I'm going to just reply. And I'm going to say, just to be sure, I would after password reset, I would log them out of Outlook and relog back in. Relog back in? Relog in? Relog in? Relog back in. Sure, I'm gonna leave it at that. You guys know what I'm saying. So I would make sure to that, and if this is an issue with shared mailboxes, I would check to make sure they have access to them. I mean, if it's an update that caused it, then roll back the update, I suppose. Remove the update, but I don't think, because I personally haven't heard. If you have heard of updates breaking this, please let me know. Still in the queue. I forgot to assign it to myself. Always assign the ticket to yourself so you can get credit. Otherwise, somebody else might start to work on it. But I'm gonna resolve it for now because it kind of seems like the same type of ticket. Teams issue. All right. The user cannot see her files in the Teams app, but she can see them on the web version. She's working on the campus, is using the campus computer basically. So I don't know if I have Teams set up here. Well, let me download Teams. Download Teams. By the way, you don't need administrator privileges to download Teams. I would download Teams, and you can remove Teams. Remove Teams. Make sure if it's at work or school, select this one here when you go download the one to the right. Anybody can install and download and install Teams. You don't need administrator privileges because it's installed under your local profile. But you can do this. You can remove Teams. So go from add, remove programs, remove Teams, this and that, and then reinstall it. I'm going to reinstall Teams here or install it for the first time. That's your first step to do. Now, I've seen this issue. Come on, log in. Bobby at cosmicnovo.onmicrosoft.com. Password is that. Authenticator, come on. I'm not sure if it's going to work for Bob here because I've recently made changes to I've recently changed his license is what I was trying to say. But I've seen this issue quite recently at my current job too, where when you go to see files, they're not visible. They're not visible for some reason. They're shared files amongst the group that they're part of. If that's the case here, it says the user cannot see her files on the Teams app, but she can use them on the web. Yeah, I saw it. It was the same issue that we've had. She's working on the camp. Okay. All right, so this is the first start here. Make sure you reinstall and make sure that you have the updated version of Teams. You're kind of limited to that, but here is what she is talking about here. If you click on the group that you're part of, right here, and if you click, for example, on general, you can see the posts that are being shared between people. So this is what Teams is used, right? It's used for collaboration and you can share files at the same time. You can see the posts, but if there are any shared files, you simply click on files. You select files here, and this should give you basically a folders and files list where you can just browse and sort just like you would on a computer, right? Or anywhere else. They're just files. And this is not working. Right? This is not working. This could be caused by, well, depending on what the error is. At my work, the error was cannot reach, cannot get to the files, basically. There was something to that fact. I forget exactly. There it is. So it was the same issue. There was a problem reaching this. There's a problem reaching this app. So this is something that's happening, and obviously it's happening here too, right? In my opinion, this happens because of some kind of a network connection issue that's happening between the app and your computer. Or I'm sorry, between the app that's on your computer. So my computer, connection between my computer where the app is installed locally and Microsoft servers. There's something going on there. The reason I say Microsoft servers is because all of this is hosted by Microsoft. All of it. All of it. So all of this, just because I have a custom email, it's still controlled by Microsoft servers. And I would say, okay, well, maybe it's a firewall issue, right? This is what I thought initially. Maybe it's a firewall issue, but chances are it's actually something else that's going on with the Microsoft. At my company, it got resolved. I had to forward the issue to, who did I forwarded to a group that actually deals with this specifically because I had to work on something else. So I'm just going to say you can try to fix this by updating or reinstalling Teams. However, I think this issue is Microsoft I think this issue is on Microsoft server end, which is kind of reinforced by the fact that the web version here is not working either, right? It could be something related to licensing too. I don't know. Maybe in the period where the licenses are renewed, which now that I think about it could be the case because I've renewed this licenses for Bob for from 2 hours ago. I've renewed the license. I give him a license. I wonder because there's an expiration period for these licenses. So now you have to pay for licenses in order to use this to Microsoft, and I wonder if there is a period in between of renewing the license that could cause this issue. I'm going to say it might be related to license. Sorry, I'm terrible at spelling. License? Renewals. It might be related to license renewals, and in between that period, it might cause this issue. That's just my guess here, just an educated guess. Might be related to license renewals, and between there, it might cause this issue. I'm going to leave it at that because I don't know how else to word this properly, but these are just my opinions here. Just my opinion. Resolved. Error with the VDI. Okay. VDI is a virtual desktop interface. All right. I'm still experiencing this error. Also on Tuesday, I was unable to open Outlook while using VDI. I was off work Wednesday and Thursday. I can't get into the VDI. Please contact me as soon as possible. So this is two separate issues here. I was unable to open Outlook while using VDI. So Here you're telling me on Tuesday. Oh, I see what you're saying. The issue started on Tuesday. You were not able to use Outlook while on VDI. I was off work on Wednesday and Thursday. I can't get into VDI. So right now you can't get into VDI at all. And there's a screenshot. All right. Okay, cool. So this is some kind of a virtual desktop interface that's set up virtual. I don't know, Horizon. I'm not sure which host this is. This could be Citrix based or something else that you initiate on the web first. What's happening usually is you would log into a web interface, right? You would log into a web interface that gives you access to different apps. Like for example, Citrix. You go to Citrix Workspace, you log into it, and it gives you a bunch of different icons. In this case, there's a VDI. In this case, virtual desktop. So it's like a virtual computer, just like these virtual machines that I have running. Like this one here, this is a virtual machine for this Active Directory server, right? Same thing here. You click on it and it would launch a virtual desktop. That's what's going on here. But the error here is specific. That this desktop currently has no desktop resources available. Please try connect to this desktop again later or contact your system administrator. So what's happening here is that VDIs usually have a limited amount of how many people can launch a virtual desktop. It's also called the VDI pool. Pool meaning is in how many of these can run at the same time. And it says here, this desktop currently has no desktop sources available. Then to me, this tells me that it ran out of how many people can use virtual desktop, how many instances of virtual desktop can run. Please try connecting or try later. Here's a perfect example of this. I have virtual machines running here. This is Hyper-V on my computer. There's a limited amount of how many of these I can run. Right now, they're running in the background, right? So I can quickly open them up. You can see I got 4 of them. But eventually, I'll run out of memory. Usually, memory or CPUs to handle more than 4. Right now, I have 4 running in the background, which is pretty good. But to make sure that I can use this and my desktop here regularly, I need to have at least 16 gigabytes of RAM. And if I look at this here, you can see I have 16 gigabytes and I have some free, so that way I can run it. Now, if I start to run this one, it might start, it may not. It may give me an error that says you're running out of resources. Luckily, it's starting, but if I try another one, so if I try to do a 6th one, this is what I was wanted to show you. An error occurred when attempting to start selected virtual machines, failed to start, unable to allocate 2 gigabytes of RAM. Insufficient system resources exist to complete the service request. It means I ran out of RAM. And I can show you this right here. Look at this. My RAM is maxed out. I do not have free 2 gigabytes of RAM to run another virtual machine. I do not have additional resources. And if I go back here, it says the desktop currently has no desktop sources available. So sources in this case could be they know that there's a certain amount of them they can run from the pool that they use of how many they can assign, and that's most likely what's causing this problem. And you could explain why Outlook is not running correctly. Anyways, I'm going to stop, turn off one of these so that way I get free up my space. See how I freed up my space right there right away. Okay. So I'm going to say the VDIs have a limited amount of resources, as in limited amount of how many people can open and run a virtual desktop machine. All right, virtual machine. I think this is what the I think this is what the issue is. I don't think it's access, because if it's an access, you wouldn't be able to log into this. You wouldn't even see this, right? You wouldn't even see this, icon. By the way, why did I close that? I lost my note. Okay. I hope it saved. No, it didn't. Okay. No, yes, it saved. Wow, that was amazing. Okay. I'm gonna leave it at that. Hey, I'll take it. That's a win, right? That's a win. And I'm going to resolve. Now, what did I want to show you here that's related to this here? Oh, yeah. So if it's just like, for example, let's kind of stick with Citrix Workspace. You see how this person has an icon here and they have access to this? Speaking of access, Citrix Workspace, you can manage Citrix Workspace through Active Directory, Citrix Workspace access to different apps and this and that. And this can be done through Active Directory as long as it's set up to propagate into Citrix. So this is kind of what it's set up at my current job, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, there are different ways of managing this. And here it is. This is what I was looking for. Active Directory. So if I go to Active Directory users and computers, and I pull up like a user here, let's say here we go lab admin, and if I go to properties, if I make a member of that group, you can see how these are some of the group policies. If I add him as a member of a group, chances are there is a group that's already set up to grant access to those, to like Citrix Workspace. So if I wanted to give somebody access to a virtual machine, that VDI that we just looked at, chances are there is a group for it. So I would, for example, type in VDI, I don't know, VDI access, right? So let's just pretend there is a group out there. I would just check name, and if it's there, and then I would click OK, and then it would add it in here. And if I click OK, then that person, once they log in after like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes after it propagates through the system, they would have access and they would see that icon here to have virtual desktop access. This is just how it's done at my work. Like, I don't know, it could be set up differently, possibly, and managed differently in different ways when it comes to Citrix, but chances are this is how it's done here as well. So you might have like multiple icons, different accesses to different things, virtual desktop, virtual apps, and this and that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it at that. If you like this video, please let me know in the comments below. I'm going to keep making these. Of course, I made 2 more. I've recorded 2 more videos here, so I'm going to pause at this time because I've recorded 3 different videos that I need to edit now. But I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you stopping by. Please share this channel with your friends that are getting into IT because this is specifically for people who are trying to get into IT and trying to learn things that are kind of common when it comes to help desk or tech support or whatnot. And I try to make these videos specifically for that to help people get into IT. All right, take care. Bye-bye. See you next time.